God's advice today. Have you ever felt that God is trying to speak to you, yet in the busyness of life, His signs go unnoticed? This message invites you to pause, reflect, and open your heart. Perhaps this is exactly what you needed to hear today. Watch until the end with openness, and if these words touch you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell to receive more messages like this. Don't forget to check the pinned comment for a 1-minute prayer and a recommended message to help strengthen your faith even more. God said, "Beloved son, listen to me with the full attention of your spirit, because this moment was not born of chance nor did it arise from a distraction of time. Before your days were counted and your steps touched the earth, I had already set this instant apart to speak to you clearly and deeply. Nothing you are feeling now is confusion or inner disorder. It is my spirit touching your innermost being, awakening your awareness and calling your heart to what is about to manifest before you. I interrupt the ordinary flow of your day because something sacred is being released now, something that cannot be treated as routine or postponed for later. Do you feel that you are ready for a deep change in your life and in the lives of those you love? Sometimes all we need is a small step of faith to open the doors of abundance, peace, and the blessings God has already prepared for us. A simple 1-minute prayer can be the beginning of a spiritual journey that transforms the inside and reflects on the outside. If you desire to attract more light, balance, and prosperity, spiritual and material, click the link in the first comment. There you will find a simple practice, guided with love, that can help you connect more deeply with the divine presence in your life. There are decisions that must be faced with maturity, perceptions that need to be embraced with humility, and truths that require courage to be accepted. I did not call you to pressure you, but to align you. I did not call you to rush you, but to awaken you from the automatic pace that tries to steal your spiritual sensitivity. Just as my son said, "Martha, Martha, you are worried and troubled about many things, but one thing is necessary." Luke chapter 10 verses 41 and 42. Today I invite you to choose this essential part, to remain in my presence. I know every thought that tries to distract you and every weight that tries to delay you, but now I ask you, stay, listen, remain. What I will reveal in this place of quietness redefines paths, heals ancient wounds, and repositions your future with purpose and peace. Comment, I choose to listen to the voice of God above every distraction. There is something alive moving within you, something that began small, almost imperceptible even to your own eyes, but that now grows with strength and purpose. You have felt this inner restlessness, this holy discomfort, this deep sense that you no longer fit into old places, into cycles that once served you but no longer contain who you are becoming. This is not loss, it is transition. It is not confusion, it is expansion. I am awakening parts of you that fell asleep because of battles, accumulated disappointments, and weariness that tried to silence your hope. What pulses within you is not anxiety. It is my breath renewing your essence and reminding you of who you truly are. Do not fear this movement, even if it shifts inner structures. It did not come to destabilize you, but to free you from what limits you. I would not call you if I had not prepared the path before you, nor would I awaken you if there were no provision for every stage of the process. Trust, what seems uncomfortable today will become living testimony tomorrow. What feels like a burden today will be transformed into strength, maturity, and authority tomorrow. Allow me to guide this growth, even when you do not understand everything, for I am with you at every step. Comment, I trust the process God is working within me. Son, There were moments when you let opportunities pass because you were overwhelmed, too tired, or distracted by the pressures of life to perceive my gentle and constant touch. I sent you signs, quiet directions, protective warnings, and impulses of care, but the noise around you spoke louder than my still voice. Even so, in none of those moments did I stop caring for you, nor did I remove my hand from your story. Today, however, I call you with clarity and firmness, because this is a sensitive time, a time when your listening must be aligned with my heart. Today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts. Hebrews chapter 3 verse 15. Do not harden your heart out of fear of failing again, nor close yourself off because of frustrations that still echo within you. I do not work with human delay, I work with perfect redemption. What was not done before does not disqualify you now, does not diminish or limit you. On the contrary, it matured you, taught you discernment, and strengthened your inner structure. This calling is deeper because today your foundation is firmer, your awareness more sensitive, and your spirit more prepared. I am calling you not to repeat the past, but to live a new level of obedience, clarity, and trust with me. Comment: today I open my heart to obey the voice of God. This communication is different from the others because it touches your identity and reaches the deepest layers of your being. I am not speaking only about what you will do or about external decisions, but about who you are becoming from the inside out. Before moving you outwardly, I am repositioning you inwardly, adjusting your vision, your values, and your way of perceiving life. Many things around you are beginning to change not by chance, but because first I am transforming your perception. I am removing from you the constant need for approval, the paralyzing fear of others' judgment, and the dependence on control that has so often exhausted you. Where there was haste, I place discernment and maturity. Where there was anxiety, I plant peace that sustains, not merely relieves. Do not rush to respond to the demands of the world. Learn to respond to my voice, which is steady and secure. When your inner being aligns with me, the outer follows naturally, without excessive effort. Doors open at the right time, choices become clearer, and your steps gain direction. Trust this silent process, for it is forming a stable, free identity, one prepared to carry what is coming without losing itself along the way. Did you know that there is an effective method to attract greater financial prosperity? This technique can help transform your deep-seated beliefs and change the way you perceive reality. It had a profound impact on my life, and we would like to invite you to explore this special practice. When we trust that God wants to act in our lives, we gain the courage to ask Him directly. God desires to bless each of us in a unique and wonderful way. That's why it's important to seek His blessings with faith and confidence, believing that He has a special plan for you. If you would like to support our work and the team dedicated to bringing content that inspires and transforms, we invite you to check out our product. The link is available in the first comment, so you can discover how this technique can also help you on your journey. Your contribution helps us continue sharing messages that make a difference. We deeply appreciate your trust and support. I arranged this meeting because the path opening before you depends on the clarity you receive right now. Nothing is disconnected, nothing is random, and nothing has been wasted. Every detail, every delay, every silence, and every season of waiting has worked in your favor, even when you could not perceive it at the time. As it is written, we know that all things work together for the good of those who love God. Romans chapter 8 verse 28. What looked like loss was actually preparation shaping your character. What felt like abandonment was protection, keeping you from paths that would have wounded you. What seemed like delay was mercy, sparing you from carrying weight you were not yet ready to sustain. Do not underestimate the power of this moment, because it seals invisible decisions that will soon produce visible fruit in your life. I am aligning your heart with my purpose so that you can sustain what is coming without breaking, so that blessing will not become burden and growth will not become pressure. Receive this alignment with humility and trust. Allow me to order your steps, refine your desires, and steady your emotions. When your heart is aligned with mine, your future becomes secure, your choices become clearer, and your journey gains meaning and direction. I speak with urgency because I love you, not because I am angry with you. My urgency does not crush you, it guides you. My voice does not accuse you, it protects you from paths that would slow your progress and drain your spiritual strength. I desire to spare you from choices that delay your advancement and from distractions that steal your focus and peace. A new season is before you, and it requires clarity, maturity, and surrender. You cannot carry into the new what belongs to the old without harming what I am about to release. Let go of ancient guilt that no longer defines you. Release human expectations that never had authority over your destiny. Lay down the fear of not being enough, because I have already equipped you for what I am calling you to live. Trust my preparation, even when you feel unsure. I do not invite you into seasons without provision. I do not call you forward without strength. Step ahead with confidence, knowing that obedience opens doors, surrender lightens your path, and faith positions you to receive everything I have prepared for you. Nothing you have felt was meaningless. That restlessness, that emptiness, that longing for something greater were signs that I was drawing you closer to my heart. As it is written, "He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion." Philippians chapter 1 verse 6. I do not start processes to abandon them halfway. If I awakened you, I will sustain you. If I called you, I will guide you. Even when the road feels narrow, even when answers seem slow, my care has not failed you. Trust me when the way feels uncertain and the steps feel small. I am present in every detail, walking beside you, strengthening you where you feel weak, and teaching you where you lack understanding. This journey is not about speed, but about faithfulness. Remain close, listen with your heart, and keep moving forward with trust. I am shaping something eternal within you, and nothing I have begun will be left unfinished. Now is the time to harvest what was planted in tears. What once seemed buried begins to break through the soil with quiet strength. Seeds sown in pain, faith, and perseverance are responding to their appointed season. Doors open where there were walls, connections align where there was isolation, and resources begin to draw near in ways you could not have orchestrated. I am your provision in every dimension of your life, emotional, spiritual, and material. Do not fear abundance, for it does not come to corrupt you, but to entrust you with greater responsibility and clearer purpose. What flows toward you now carries intention. Receive it with humility, gratitude, and awareness. Steward wisely what I place in your hands, for it is not only for your comfort, but for your calling. What I release into your life is meant to strengthen you, restore what was worn down, and overflow into the lives of others. Nothing is wasted. Nothing arrives without meaning. Comment: I receive God's provision with gratitude and responsibility. I am calling you to live from truth, not from fear. Fear no longer defines your decisions, your voice, or your posture. As it is written, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and self-discipline." 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7. Rise with confidence that is grounded, not arrogant. Walk with discernment that listens before it reacts. Speak with spiritual authority that comes from alignment, not force. What once paralyzed you will now become the very fuel that propels your courage forward. Past battles sharpened your awareness, former wounds refined your strength. You are not walking alone, even when the path feels unfamiliar. I go before you, preparing the way, straightening what was crooked, and dismantling resistances you cannot see with natural eyes. Trust the movement. Trust the timing. Courage is already awakening within you. Comment, I walk with courage because God goes before me. This marks the beginning of a new season. A chapter quietly closes, and another unfolds with growing clarity. What belonged to the old cycle no longer has authority over your future. Stay attentive to my voice, faithful in the small steps, and confident in the process unfolding before you. You do not need to rush what I am building with care. I am with you today, tomorrow, and far beyond what you can presently imagine. What I have prepared exceeds your deepest requests and surpasses expectations you were afraid to name out loud. Rest without guilt. Trust without hesitation. Move forward without looking back. Peace will guard your heart, and purpose will guide your steps. This is not an ending, it is an alignment. Advance with assurance. Comment, I rest in God's peace and move forward with confidence. You have been searching, even when your own thoughts could not clearly define what you were longing for. There has been a quiet ache beneath the surface of your days, a pull toward something truer, steadier, more meaningful than what you could name. You have wanted authenticity, grounding, purpose, something that resonates deep within you and does not fade when circumstances shift. This moment is not random. These words are not passing through your life by coincidence. They are connected to that longing you have carried, sometimes consciously, sometimes without language. Now that you are here, remain present. Stay with this moment. Let it unfold without rushing ahead or looking back. What is meant for you in this space requires your attention, not because it is fragile, but because it is precise. There are moments that act as thresholds, and this is one of them, a pause that carries direction, an encounter that carries alignment. You are not being asked to strive or prove anything here, only to be fully present and receptive. Do not allow your mind to drift, because what is being revealed continues to move over your life even now. The persistence you feel in these words exists because the place you are standing in internally is delicate, formative, and important. Everything you have lived recently, every unexplained heaviness, every sudden thought that appeared without warning, every emotion that brushed against your soul, has been part of a deeper preparation. Nothing has been wasted. What felt disorienting was not a loss of direction but a recalibration. Your path was not collapsing, it was being adjusted with care. And now it is essential that what is offered to you be received with openness, without inner resistance. Old veils are being lifted, perceptions that once limited your sight are being removed. Areas within you that were clouded by uncertainty are being clarified. Pieces that once felt misaligned are coming into order. This is not chaos, it is refinement. It is not confusion, it is transition. Some doors are closing because they no longer belong in the future you are stepping into. This is not punishment, and it is not deprivation. It is precision. Nothing here is accidental. When movement happens in your life, it is intentional, even when your understanding lags behind the process. There is an unseen design adjusting itself around you, responding to your growth, your readiness, your calling. What you are hearing now is directly connected to what is approaching you. That is why it carries urgency, not urgency born of fear, but of timing. That is why your attention was drawn so insistently. Your pace had to be interrupted. Your momentum had to be paused. You were brought here on purpose because there are things you cannot carry forward. You have tried to keep moving while holding thoughts that were never yours to bear. You have tried to remain strong while your inner self quietly asked for guidance. You have chosen silence when what you needed was clarity. And now you are being told clearly, you are not being ignored. You are being guided. You are being repositioned. You are being led toward a door that cannot be forced, manipulated, or replaced, a door that opens only when alignment is complete. This door is not metaphorical. It is real, spiritual, and essential to your growth. Crossing it requires attentiveness to this exact moment, not preparation for some distant future. What is unfolding has already begun to manifest. You have sensed it as an inner restlessness you could not explain, as a quiet shift in your priorities, as a subtle awareness that preparation was necessary even without knowing what for. That was not anxiety. That was perception. Your spirit recognized movement before your mind could interpret it. Do not resist that sensation. It is guidance. It is direction. It is confirmation. And understand this as well. It is not accidental that distractions have multiplied around you during this time. Noise always increases when something meaningful is about to emerge. Confusion attempts to crowd the space where clarity is forming. But truth cuts through noise. What is spoken with intention remains. What is established with purpose finds its way forward. What is set in motion cannot be undone by interference. Everything that has been quietly forming now prepares to become visible. But before it does, you must be still enough to receive it. Some blessings require stillness, not effort. Some instructions can only be heard when you stop pushing forward. Revelation does not arrive to a hurried mind. That is why your rhythm was slowed. That is why this message met you in the middle of your day, your searching, your need. This was not delayed until conditions were ideal. It arrived because this exact moment was necessary. Listen with more than thought, listen with your inner awareness. You are closer to change than you realize. Closer to relief than your recent experiences suggest. Closer to clarity than your questions imply. Closer to movement, progress, and answers than you believe. The tears you shed were not unseen. The patience you practiced was not empty. The days you simply endured were not wasted. This moment is not meant to unsettle you, it is meant to prepare you. It is an alert, not an alarm. You are stepping onto a point of transition that deserves attentiveness, reverence, and willingness. The urgency you sense is not rooted in danger but in purpose. What is ahead requires awareness. It requires consent. It requires presence. What follows cannot be received by a distracted heart. That is why your attention was called. That is why the invitation was repeated. That is why you are encountering these words now, at the exact time they were meant to reach you. You have carried weight quietly. You have moved forward while holding unanswered questions. And through all of it, unseen work was taking place. Pieces were being arranged. Timing was being aligned. Outcomes were being prepared beyond your field of vision but never beyond control. This calling to attention was not reserved for a more convenient season. It was not postponed until your schedule cleared or your emotions stabilized. It came now, in this breath, because you are nearer to a sudden clarity than you imagine. nearer to a new way of understanding than your past patterns suggest, nearer to a depth of peace you have not yet experienced, nearer to beginnings your mind cannot yet outline. This is not an attempt to stir emotion or offer temporary comfort. It is a presence meeting you where you are because your path is entering a decisive turn, one that shapes not only what you do next, but who you become as you move forward. Remain here. Stay attentive. What unfolds from this point carries intention, direction, and a future that aligns with the truth you have been seeking all along. Beloved, awaken fully to this moment, because something rare and deliberate is unfolding before you. A new way is opening, not merely around you, but within you, and it requires a heart that is open enough to recognize it, steady enough to stand upon it, and conscious enough to walk through it without fear. I speak to you with depth because surface words would never reach the place where this transformation must begin. There is a reason these words feel heavier, more intentional, more alive. They are not meant to pass quickly through your thoughts, but to settle, to stir, and to realign you. I know the timing of your life. I know how long you have waited, how often you have wondered if change would ever arrive, and how many times you adjusted your expectations just to survive. This moment asks you to pause, to listen, and to allow yourself to be fully present. What stands before you is not noise, not coincidence, not emotional impulse. It is an invitation. It is a threshold. And you are here because something within you is ready, even if you did not yet have the words to name it. I see the fatigue you carried quietly, the exhaustion that settled into your bones while you continued to move forward. I know the effort it took to appear strong when you felt worn thin inside. You learned how to function while depleted, how to carry responsibility while your inner reserves were nearly empty. I remember every tear you held back, every silent cry that escaped only in the privacy of your thoughts, every moment you asked for relief without daring to hope too much. You bore weights that were never meant to be carried alone, and you did so with a resilience that often went unnoticed, even by yourself. There were nights when your body rested but your mind could not, days when your smile masked confusion, seasons when you kept going simply because stopping felt impossible. None of this escaped my awareness. Nothing about your struggle was invisible. The strength you displayed was real, but so was the cost. And now, this moment arrives not to demand more from you, but to acknowledge what you have already endured. You once asked for clarity and felt as though the answer did not come. You questioned whether your words had reached beyond yourself, whether your longing was heard at all. What I speak to you now is part of that answer, part of the understanding you were seeking, even when you could not articulate it clearly. This is not a sudden shift without preparation. It is the turning of a wheel that has been moving slowly beneath the surface for a long time. You are approaching a decisive point, one where inner transformation becomes essential before outer change can fully take shape. This season is not about rushing forward, but about deepening your sensitivity, refreshing your inner world, and renewing your sense of purpose. It is about learning to listen again, not just with your ears, but with the core of who you are. What comes next depends less on what you do and more on who you are becoming. And that becoming is already underway. For this reason, my guidance must rise above every distraction that competes for your attention. This is not a moment to skim, to hurry, or to dismiss what stirs within you. Stay here. Do not pull away too quickly. Do not convince yourself that this is merely another passing thought or emotional reaction. This instant matters. It has been set apart with care. It belongs to you in a way that is both personal and intentional. I do not speak with urgency to frighten you, nor with intensity for the sake of drama. I speak because love does not remain silent when something precious is approaching. There are moments that require your full awareness, moments when distraction becomes costly, not because of punishment, but because of missed opportunity. What draws near carries significance, and you deserve to meet it with open eyes and a steady heart. Take a deep breath and remain present, because what is being revealed brings vision and illuminates truth. It clarifies why this interruption came into your day, why your attention was gently but firmly drawn here. A spiritual opening is available now, one that cannot be measured by external signs or proven by logic alone. It is perceived inwardly, sensed rather than seen. You felt it before you understood it, a subtle shift, a quiet pressure in your chest, a sense of awakening that did not yet have direction. You noticed the feeling without knowing its source, the intuition that something was changing even though circumstances looked the same. That sensation was not random. It was the stirring of alignment, the quiet announcement that conditions were converging in a way that is uncommon and purposeful. This is not governed by your mood, your fears, or your expectations. It unfolds according to a timing that transcends them. Because this opening is active, this moment carries more weight than you realize. It does not bend itself to convenience or wait for perfect emotional readiness. It is sacred timing, where processes long in motion intersect with opportunity. The intention behind this is not to overwhelm you, but to awaken joy, to deepen connection, to restore what has been dulled by strain and repetition. If something within you responds as you read, do not silence it. Let your inner being acknowledge what resonates. There is a step only you can take, a response that cannot be forced or replaced. You have searched for change through unspoken prayers, wept for understanding when words felt inadequate, and longed for relief without knowing where it would come from. Those moments were not empty. They shaped your readiness for now. You spoke without sound, believing your questions dissolved into silence. Yet they were heard, and this moment is part of that response. That is why these words arrive with weight, why they carry a sense of presence rather than abstraction. You feel something stirring because what approaches is not small, not accidental, and not without intention. It is grace with direction, renewal with substance. Your life has passed through invisible battles, conflicts that did not leave visible marks but carved deep impressions within you. You encountered confusion, discouragement, and wounds that resisted easy healing. There were times when you felt fragmented, when maintaining composure required more energy than you possessed. You searched for strength and clarity while your inner world felt increasingly crowded and heavy. This exhaustion was deeper than you admitted, even to yourself. Your thoughts raced without rest, your heart stored pain you did not know how to release, and your spirit felt compressed by responsibilities and expectations. There were seasons when your body continued forward while your inner self lagged behind, disconnected and unsure. You moved through days without clear direction, driven by necessity rather than intention. This distance did not arise from a desire to withdraw, but from prolonged exposure to difficulty. You adapted, you survived, you fulfilled obligations, even while feeling hollow inside. The numbness was not a choice, it grew from unresolved wounds, sustained pressure, and challenges that accumulated until your inner voice grew faint. You did not notice how dim your light had become or how close you were to losing sensitivity altogether. But this was never meant to be the final state of your story. Before that weariness could carry you too far from what was prepared for you, I stepped into your day. I interrupted your momentum, touched your awareness, and called you back, not with anger or disappointment, but with care. Love does not abandon what it cherishes. This moment was not accidental. It was crafted with attention, established with gentleness and precision. Nothing about it is misplaced. You are not behind, not forgotten, not disqualified. You are here because it is time to reorient, to reclaim what was dulled, and to step toward what has been waiting. The path ahead does not demand that you be unbroken, only that you be present and willing. What opens now invites you to walk forward renewed, carrying less weight, seeing with clearer eyes, and trusting that what unfolds is guided with intention and care. This moment is not accidental, and your presence here carries weight far beyond what your rational mind may immediately grasp. You were drawn into this space with intention, guided by a movement that began long before you became aware of it. Something within you recognized the call even while your thoughts lagged behind, still tangled in routine, doubt, and fatigue. There is a reason your attention slowed, a reason your breath deepened, a reason this pause found you now. It is because what is unfolding cannot be received in haste or distraction. It requires awareness, stillness, and a willingness to remain present. You are standing at a threshold where clarity begins to replace confusion, and that transition demands that your inner world stay awake. This is not about gathering information, but about perceiving alignment. What you are sensing is the gentle but firm invitation to step into a deeper consciousness of your own path, one that has been unfolding quietly even when everything around you felt loud and uncertain. For a long time, you tried to be strong enough on your own, believing endurance was the same as progress. You carried responsibilities that exceeded your capacity, held together structures that were already cracking, and pushed forward even when your inner reserves were depleted. What you did not see was that support was present even when your strength faltered. While you believed everything was still, subtle movements were already taking place. Adjustments were being made beneath the surface, stabilizing what was about to collapse, reinforcing what you could no longer hold upright. The waiting was not inactivity, and the silence was not absence. There was preparation happening in spaces you could not access consciously. What felt like stagnation was actually careful rearrangement, ensuring that when movement resumed, it would be sustainable and aligned rather than forced. Now you arrive at a point where carrying the same weight forward is no longer possible. The accumulation of burdens that drained your vitality has reached its end. This is not punishment, nor loss, but discernment. Certain attachments, expectations, and patterns can no longer accompany you into what comes next. You are not being asked to abandon yourself, but to release what was never meant to define you. This moment stands as a decisive turn for your inner life, one that reorients your direction with precision. What is placed before you now is not a random opportunity, but a passage aligned with who you are becoming. It is a shift that requires space, and space can only be created by letting go. What falls away is not taken from you, it simply no longer belongs. In that release, something truer gains room to emerge. There may be a quiet ache for what is familiar, even when familiarity carried pain. Nostalgia often disguises itself as comfort, but comfort is not always truth. You are not losing ground, you are clearing it. The questions you have carried in silence have been heard, even the ones you struggled to form into words. You asked when change would come, when clarity would arrive, when your moment would finally unfold. The answer is not found in the future but in your presence now. Change begins when attention settles into alignment. This is not coincidence, it is convergence. Pieces that once appeared scattered are beginning to arrange themselves into coherence. What felt fragmented is slowly revealing an underlying order. The understanding may arrive gradually, but recognition comes first, a quiet knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. Doors that remained closed for years do not always open with noise. Some yield slowly, almost imperceptibly, as resistance dissolves rather than breaks. The answers you sought are not descending all at once, but forming a steady illumination that your inner awareness senses before your intellect can explain. You are not required to grasp everything immediately. There is no demand for mastery at this stage, only receptivity. Insight arrives in layers, like light filtering through fog, each layer revealing just enough for the next step. Trust the pacing of this unfolding. You were guided here deliberately, and nothing essential will be missed. What matters now is not acceleration, but attentiveness. Stay open, and the clarity you need will meet you as you move forward. You have not been wandering aimlessly, even when it felt that way. What you experienced was repositioning. The exhaustion you carry is not a sign that you are failing, but that you are transitioning. There is a distinct fatigue that comes when one season ends and another has not fully begun. Your energy felt heavy because you were still walking the final stretch of an old path while being internally prepared for a new one. Motivation waned, focus scattered, and enthusiasm dimmed, not because you were losing direction, but because the direction was changing. When inner seasons shift, the body and mind feel the strain of realignment. That discomfort marks the closing of a cycle that no longer has authority over your life. Its influence has ended, even if the echoes linger briefly. I hope this message has been an inspiration to you. If it touched your heart, write Amen in the comments and share it with someone who also needs to hear this word. I invite you to click on the first comment, where you will find a special prayer and a suggestion to strengthen your spiritual journey. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to receive more inspiring content like this. See you tomorrow.